At the KSMO studios, your hometown radio station. It's Intercounty Tuesday. Yay!
It is.
And Heather has made her way over, and she is ready to tell you all about Co-op Month.
I am.
Holy
Man,
cow.
it's my
Hey, well,
I was
first
gonna
off,
say-
great to see you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's
Yeah,
a
well,
nice
good.
drive over this morning.
Beautiful, isn't it?
I know. It's kind of like
It actually feels like fall.
feels like fall. Yeah, I've seen people have shared some different things about it's Missouri, so it'll be winter in the morning and fall just before lunch, and
Summer by the
you've
afternoon.
got spring and summer in there too. So
Oh, it's
we're
still
kind of
good.
that time of year.
It still could. You never know Missouri. And you know, once we're in October, it can be anything from 88 degrees down to 25.
We've had kind of snow spit a little bit Halloween sometimes.
Yeah,
so,
we have. We actually have. Well, they're already getting some snow up in Minnesota and Wisconsin and
yeah.
Michigan, and they're already getting accumulating snow.
Oh, wow.
So
I'm not ready for that. Well, I would like to have fall for a while if you
yeah.
can.
Well, and right now the leaves. It as much moisture as we got, we should have incredible colors. But it seems like some of the leaves have already started to tumble real kind of quicker than I anticipated.
They
So
they
I don't
didn't
know.
hang on very long.
They haven't. So I'm hoping there's still a lot of color out there. But we just really started to get some cooler mornings. So these 40-degree mornings is what it really takes to start to see the color. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping in the next week and a half,
Maybe
we'll
we'll
really
see
start
it.
to see it instead of
Yeah.
them just taking a tumble off the tree and
Yeah.
filling up my yard, which they do on a continual basis.
Yeah. You're not
Anyway.
alone.
Glad to have you aboard.
Yeah.
Appreciate you being here. It is Co-op Month, and we're not lying about that. And our friends in Intercounty are all over the place creating a wonderful lunch environment for many of the co-ops and many of the cities that the co-ops do serve. You guys are so wonderful to provide steak and lobster. It's
Oh,
fantastic.
listen to you. Yeah, we're going to have some disappointed members. I'll be like, I thought there was lobster. No, stay in. I'll send them your way. Head over
well,
to
it's disguised as a
KSMO.
hamburger hot dog.
Yeah, hot dog. But they're the good ones. They're the big old quarter-pound, all beef dogs.
It's
and
big old dog.
They'll fill you up. Yeah. So,
But it is Co-op Month, and
It
so
is.
so let's recognize our friends at the Co-op. There's a lot of hard work that's done by a number of different members. You know, Vanessa's in here. We talked a little bit to Vanessa about different things that's going on. You know, little things that we don't normally hear about with the Co-op, and of course, you know, you yourself can tell more of the stories about the different positions at the Co-op. And I loved it when you guys had the one essay about what would you like to be at the Co-op.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and I am sure that there's a trillion students out there that have no idea what positions are even available.
They didn't, and that was one of the things when we were presenting the essay contest that year. We kind of had some blank glares, like, well, I don't want to be a lineman, so how can I have a job at the co-op? and they are our face.
Sure.
They are
That's who people see.
right. But there are a lot of jobs that people don't necessarily think about, and that was a good topic for those kids because it kind of made them think about how they could have a career in the co-op industry, and maybe they're interested in accounting. Well, we need accountants. Maybe they're interested in doing marketing and communication stuff. We have a need for that too.
Mechanics.
IT, mechanics, yeah. And it kind of just got them to thinking about, oh, wow, like they're an organization that needs a little bit of everybody. They need a lot of linemen, but they need a little bit of everybody. And we had some really good essays.
Well, and that's just it. You start thinking about it. You have engineers. You know, people don't think about it too much, but you have engineers. You have people that have to be back at the office, obviously. You have accountants, as you were mentioning, but you also have to have an inventory specialist
We
because
do.
you have a lot of inventory
We do.
that
Yep.
comes and goes on a daily basis.
Yep.
You know, and then you have to have somebody to keep up with all the service records on every truck and every car. And then also you possibly have some different things at the office that, like backup generators that also have to be serviced,
Maintained,
you
yep.
know, so they have to have service records on them, you know, and then, of course, put together the auctions you guys have, you know, when you have your kind of divest
Events
yourself
and-
of old assets. Somebody has to put all that together. So you have specialists in those fields. I mean, it just continues to go on, where people, I don't think, really realize how deep a co-op we really have right here in our midst. It's got a lot of positions in it.
Right. Yep. And the co-op, it takes all of those people and all of those positions to make it work. And not that they're employed by the co-op in any way, but one of our most important pieces of that is our members. And that's kind of what we're celebrating this month, the difference, how co-ops are different. And we're not like a city utility or a municipal. We're not for profit. We're here to just provide service to the members, make their lives better, serve them in ways beyond just providing them with power. And in October, we kind of celebrate that. We do have Member Appreciation Day lunches across our service territory. We've got 7 this month. Today's actually St. James, so I'm going to hit the road after this.
You have to go up
head
to
straight
St.
up
James?
Yeah. Yeah. So, no, that's good. It's good.
Are you cooking or delivering?
I'm probably wrapping and handing out. Yeah, no, you don't want me to do that.
Different kind of wrap.
Yes.
Different
yes.
kind of wrap.
But we want to do more than just make sure the power's on when you flip the switch. We want to be able to come to your kids' schools and teach them about electrical safety. We want to be able to speak to your groups, adult groups, about safety, but also energy efficiency. We want to provide these rebate programs to help you be more efficient in your home. There's a lot to a co-op, and our members should always be at the center of that and the focus of that. And October is kind of our time to kind of recharge and remember that and refocus.
It's your time to shine. It really is. I mean, the co-ops do so much, so important to the lives of so many people. And I think we kind of take it for granted sometimes, You know, we're very fortunate to have a great co-op like Inter County that does what you're doing. Get out there. They try and keep the public informed. They try and make sure that you know what's coming. You know that if there's our rate increases, or there's going to be this, or there's going to be this change, or that change, or maybe where you're going to be at the upcoming festival. So come on out and talk to us. Let us know what's on your mind. And really, we talk about the annual meeting being a picnic, because it really is. It's not intense, because there is a board meeting,
right?
But it's kind of free and open. People have a good time. They get to see neighbors. They get to socialize. When COVID hit and all that was gone, it kind of was like, yuck.
How are we different? When we can't share with our members, when we can't interact with them? And I think that's a big part of these lunches. We have the people. They come, they have lunch, they visit, they ask questions. If they have questions, they share ideas. We were in Rolla last week, and we had people bringing friends that weren't even members. And that's fine, because that's our community too. And here, Salem, you guys are kind of similar to that. You guys are our neighbors in our community, people in our communities. So when we do have Appreciation Day here, and Stan was joking before the show that we've put them last on the list. It is towards the...
But that's the best. You say
I've
the
always
best
heard
for
that.
last.
Best for last. That was the intention there. But come and join us. Have lunch with us. And I promise you, regardless of the weather, whatever it might be, we talked about how October is kind of a toss-up. But
okay, so what day is the Salem celebration going to be? And it will be out at the Commons.
It is at the Commons. It's going to be on the 29th. Okay. So that is a Tuesday. And we'll be over there. We'll be there from 11 to 1. And we'll be delivering food to different businesses. The closer it gets, we'll kind of start calling those and see how many lunches they need. We know we've got members that work and don't have a chance to.
Are you going to be rapping there too?
Probably, yeah, yeah. I'm going to have to write up some lyrics or something.
You're going to be a rap artist before you know it.
Just, by the end of the month, right?
Yeah, exactly. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
But it is a great way for the co-ops to say thank you to their members, but it's also a great way for the members to say thank you to their co-op. It really is. It should be one that goes both ways. Yeah, they're bringing you lunch, but they don't have to. It's just something that they want to do to make sure that you understand how important that you are to them, but then you should feel just as blessed to feel like we're just as important to them that they want to bring us lunch.
Yeah. And they are important to us. I mean, that's why we go to work every day. So.
Oh, I thought it was because you wanted to come here.
That's the second Tuesday of every month. That's not every day. That's one day a month. That's
Yeah,
why I
but-
wanted to come to work today.
I
Dan.
see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That and to go to St. James and rap.
And rap.
And
yeah.
rap. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Well, we do appreciate it. Again, on the 29th, you'll be co-op during this month of October. Co-op month be celebrated here. And as Heather has mentioned, they have already been in a couple of towns. You got St. James today.
St. James today. We were at
And
Rolla last week.
I think
And
you still got what, Raymondville and I don't even know all the ones left.
so we'll have Mountain Grove later this week. Thursday we'll be at Mountain Grove. And then we've got Licking the next week.
Can't you do it Friday when we're down there for the football game? You could just bring us some food up. Oh, it's just wishful thinking, huh?
I'm like, sorry, Stan.
Yeah, I don't
Those
want
are-
it from Thursday.
Yeah. But then we'll have Licking, Summersville, and Roby before we make it to
Very
over
good,
here to Salem.
Very good. Anyway, well, again, I want to thank our friends at the co-op. They put on, I kind of call it a great delivery show. Because when they come in, they bring you your paper bags filled with goodies.
Yeah.
You know, and it's always nice. And they're going to have the Halloween cookie or cupcake this time.
I don't know. I had in
We were
Rolla,
right there at
I had
Halloween
a little,
now.
I know. I had a little bag. They were these miniature soft chocolate chip cookies. I don't even like a Pillsbury cookie or something. I don't know. They were so good. There was only like 4 or 5 in the bag. I probably could have ate way more than that, but
And it was
They were
probably
good.
ripped open, so you had to just eat it. You couldn't.
well, I didn't want to
wrap
waste
it.
them.
Yeah.
I'm not a wasteful person.
Okay. Well, you sacrificed to
I
make
did.
sure that
Yep.
they did not go to waste. Well, very good. All right. So we appreciate that. October 29th, and they'll be contacting you if you are in a business, like Heather was saying,
Mm-hmm.
to a little bit ahead of time to make sure they know how many lunches that you would like to have, and so
Yep.
it'll be good. Be
Yeah,
very good.
It
Thank
will be
you.
good.
And again, co-op month, all this month. But it's more than what you meet with the eye. And we really I wanted to just kind of emphasize how important the co-ops have been. You know, we go back to the derecho, we go back to different things. The communications that are there. I know at that time, you know, it was a different, obviously, president, things of that nature. But Intercounty kept everybody informed by coming in a number of different times on the radio just to
Good.
keep everybody up to date on where they were, what areas they're serving, how many people they've had come in to help, how quickly they think it's going to be. Because you never know. When they're going to get out there and you got trees twisted around power lines, or maybe the other way around, or with the derecho could be one of each.
Yeah,
You know, it
a
was
little
kind
bit
of
of both.
crazy. They did a great job of keeping the public up to date on what was happening. And so, again, on our tip of our cap, the communications department, where like Heather is serving you right now, and you've got Tony and the great rest of the staff that they'll help out. Really do try and get the word out there very quickly about special things when you're doing tree trimming. You're warning people if you're going to be on this route, you may see different trucks. They're not intercounty trucks; they're contractor trucks.
Right.
You know, and when different things are happening around your area, they try and keep you up to date. That's what co-ops do.
Right. No surprises.
No surprise, and that's the great thing. Hey, this is happening. If you see them, it actually is okay.
Right. Right. And I'm glad you kind of talked about the derecho and the storms and keeping people up to date and being out there and getting power back on, because one of the things I wanted to talk about today, and it's co-op month and we're proud of our people, but I am just we've got 10 guys down in Georgia right now that have been helping over a week and a half now. They've been helping restore power to some of the area down there in southern Georgia, and it is just catastrophic, the damage that those members of those co-ops are facing. They spent several days with one co-op. Okefenokee, actually, was the name of the co-op. Kind of
The
fun
swamp.
to say. Yeah.
Okefenokee Swamp.
So they were there for a while, and they're at a co-op now called Little Okmulgee, and they've been there for quite some time. When they first, after the hurricane, they had 97% of their members without power. that is just massive power outages.
Yeah, and
That
there's
on a
another
s-
storm coming.
on a scale that we can't even comprehend. They've got originally 40 employees, and they very quickly had around 400. A lot of coordination, a lot of organization, the organization and communication required to kind of make that work.
Right.
When you have such a small staff, it's just really amazing. The logistics of it are just really amazing. But we at Intercounty, we are just incredibly proud of those 10 guys that are down there. And we actually had 10 fresh linemen, if you will. They are heading out this morning, probably already on the road, headed that way. And they're going to swap out. The first 10 are going to come back. And the new crew's going to head down there and kind of help finish stuff up. But mutual aid is a huge part of co-ops and what makes us different. And we're grateful for our statewide who coordinates that, and the statewides across the nation. You know, if we were in need, we could ask for it, and those linemen from Georgia would be right up here
Oh, yeah.
in a heartbeat. And our guys know that, and they answer that call too when there's a need. And that's one of the really, in my opinion, one of the greatest things about the co-ops is the willingness to kind of help each other out and go down and jump in whenever they're needed. And I'm super proud of them. I know everybody else is. Once they get back, we'll we will make them famous. We will brag on them
we
until
should.
we're out of breath. But we are proud of those guys and what they're doing and the sacrifices that they're making, because that's a long time to be away from your family, and they're working 16, 18, 20-hour days.
Well, and Heather, it's just like you're walking in, everything is pristine. You're moving trees, you're fighting collapsed buildings. You might be finding things in you may be finding carcasses of animals, and you just don't know what you're going to be finding. Every single day you're
Right.
out there, and you're in the middle of nowhere in some of those locations.
And in a
the
terrain-
Okefenokee Swamp is not a place I would want to be right now.
As I say, the terrain is just a lot different. The elements that these guys are facing, a lot different. You know, you just kind of step into something that there's a lot of uncertainties with, and
Truly, the way you put that step into something,
yeah, and
don't know
quite
what it'll
literally
be.
sometimes, yeah,
you don't know what it'll be.
they're wading through marshes and getting people's power back on that they don't even know. And to me, that is it's selfless and it's amazing. And we have really incredible linemen that are willing to go and do that.
And I hope people out there, when we talk about the linemen, it's not just like they go there and they climb a pole and they hook a line up and then they climb another pole and hook a line up. They have to strategize everything to make sure, because some places where the poles may have been in the past, they may not be there anymore. They may have to move them because of the damage done. They can't really put anything there, because now the river that used to be 22 feet to the right is now right through the middle, or that creek or stream or whatever it is now going through where that pole used to be. You're going to have to make some changes. So, there's a lot of strategic planning that has to go through before these guys ever get back out there. And they have to take a look at it. I know they take aerial views and stuff of that nature, kind of get a good idea. But until the boots are on the ground, we almost talk like an army. And that really is, it's an army of co-ops that come together and attack the damage that has been done. That's the enemy. Just try and clear that away, get people back online and get them back to the power that they need, and
Yeah.
as quickly as possible. And we all know, like Asheville, just absolutely just,
Devastation.
yeah, and a beautiful little town if you've never been there. And it breaks my heart, because I really loved Asheville. And because we went there and went down to Biltmore. Of course, Biltmore did not get damaged, but the little town that was right below it, and the beautiful motel that was right there, all underwater and pretty well destroyed.
Yeah.
And that just, to me, is just a quaint, nice location, very safe, very open. Just
Pleasant.
why did they get hit with that? Well, nobody knows. Weather hits wherever it wants to hit. You can't control Mother Nature, but it's just, are they going to ever be able to recover from that? Because I understand the creek that goes by, the little bridge you go into the Biltmore with, if you've never been there, there's like a little I say creek, it's more
Little
like a little
stream.
small stream. That ate the whole street. That stream became just a
river.
raging gorge, and it took the street away that was right next to it.
Yeah.
How do you fix that? So,
And how do you start to fix, like, where do you start?
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. The logistics to me is just incredibly interesting. And I've got a lot of respect for the people that do that plan it and plan it in the midst of it. It's still a disaster.
Well, yeah.
And how
And
do
they're
you,
still finding people, and they're still finding debris and souvenir. I say souvenirs, but probably mementos from people's homes 5-6 miles away from the location. And what do you don't know who that belongs to. You find something, they set it all aside and they put it out there, and then if it's yours, well, some people may come and take something that's not theirs. You won't know. Nobody knows
right.
unless you have something etched on it. Very, very big devastation, and we've got another storm coming. It's going to hit dead on Tampa, and then go across Florida, and there's going to be more problems, and that's Category 4.
Yeah.
So our prayers are to those people, and hopefully that will die down quite a bit before it ever strikes land.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look right now as if it is.
Yeah. But to the people, we've had some members ask, well, why do you send our guys down there? You're putting them in harm's way. You're taking them away from our co-op and the tasks that need to be done here. And I can assure you that if we were in a situation where we ourselves could not function without them, if we would have also had a natural disaster, we would not ever put your co-op in jeopardy. We would not send when we needed them here. But that's who we are as a co-op. And we know, we've heard some of the linemen down in Georgia, they get choked up talking about how appreciative they are of these guys and their willingness to come and help. And we know that when we're in a situation where we need that call will be answered too. And so maybe they're down there now helping to get the power back on to people who will not have power for weeks.
Yeah, long time.
But if your power is ever out because of a huge natural disaster, and we're looking at massive restoration efforts that are going to take us days, weeks, we know we could call up on these guys and they would come in and help get your power on too.
Right.
And
that happened during a derecho.
And
Yeah,
that's, it's just...
It's amazing.
It's what makes us different. It's what makes these guys different. It's what we need to remember in April when we celebrate Lineman Appreciation Day. They answer that call. And we're proud of those guys, and we're thankful for them. And we know the co-ops and the members down there, they are too. And so just a huge, I know they can't listen because they're in Georgia and they're working.
They can be.
They can because you're streaming. That's true.
That's right.
Yeah.
They can be.
But hopefully they
So
know.
guys, wipe the tears away and get back to work.
Yeah. Listen to Stan.
No.
Pull your boots
Seriously.
up.
I tell
Get to
you, people just don't realize how much land and area that is. I mean, just take a look at the size of Inter County. Going from below Mountain Grove all the way up above Rolla, you've got a huge area to cover. And okay, you even if you have 50 service personnel, you're not even scratching the surface.
Right.
And if you can get another 100 in, you're still not scratching the surface because, as we all know, when you have that disaster, you got to clear it out first before you ever go back to restore it. So there's a lot of preliminary work that has to be done first.
You got to get to it
Yeah,
before you
that's-
can
yeah,
even
That's true. That's what I mean.
to clean it up. So
to get in there. So
Yeah.
a tip of our cap to these guys who go, all the linemen are out there. It's a thankless job as far as I'm concerned because you're up there. You are doing a job that obviously you have to train very hard for. But at the same time, I don't think anybody, when they go through their training and education, goes through the Okefenokee swamp to get educated on how to do it. So they get educated on site. This
Yeah.
is what's down here, guys.
adapt.
Yeah. So anyway, we appreciate them very much. And thank you to
Absolutely.
our co-ops for all the great work they do. All the co-ops. It's not just our friends in Inter County, which we always love and cherish because they're right here with us, but all those other co-ops that, when that time of need came back in 2009 with that derecho, they were there. to help us. And
Absolutely.
now we're there to help them.
That's how it works.
I'm done.
Hey, we could end the show right now.
We could.
And would
But,
have,
but we'd be in trouble.
yeah, probably.
'Cause
And we do have other things to
we
talk
have
about.
a few other things to talk about. Now, Intercounty is going to be closed on Monday.
We are. Yep. We are going to be closed. We'll have a dispatcher still available. So if you have an outage or some sort of emergency, there's still a dispatcher. But we are going to be going through some all-employee training. So we will be there.
All employee training.
Everybody. Well, I mean, not the guys down in Georgia. We're not
Well,
making them
obviously,
come back.
yeah.
But yeah, one day a year we get together. We do all employee training, and sometimes that's a little confusing to members because they're like, "Well, I thought you were going to be closed, but the parking lot is full. I know the employees are there. We are there in Licking, but we're getting educated."
No, that's
Yeah.
great. You got to do that. The laws change, things change. You need to get everybody on the same page, don't you?
Yep, absolutely. So we're going to
Very
be
good. So that'll be Monday, the 14th,
Monday.
right?
Yep, Monday the
Okay.
14th, and then the very next day we'll open up and start getting ready to serve hot dogs and lunch to people in Licking.
Wow.
I know, just hit the ground running.
There you go. Okay, so that'll be next week.
Yep.
So kind of keep that in mind. I wanted to bring that out because a lot of times we do tend to maybe forget about that. And then maybe we catch it before the end of the show, but I wanted to make sure that
Yeah.
people know it's not a holiday per se. Guess you could call it a kind of an inconspicuous Columbus Day.
Yeah, well, that's what we try to do it on a day that is recognized by some businesses as a holiday where they're closed, so that way people, they might expect us to be closed anyway, but yeah.
But anyway, that's not why you're closed. You're closed for training.
We're closed for training.
You're closed for training.
But
That'd be
dispatcher is still available, so
All right.
don't think if your power goes out, you have to wait to call because we're all in training. You can always call
All right.
if you have an outage.
Very good. Now, there's something going on in Rolla that I know that we're talking. We really haven't talked too much about, but Intercounty has an office in Rolla.
We do.
And they've got some extra land now that they are going to be moving to. Correct.
Right.
All right, but there's a building in the way.
There's 2 buildings.
Well, I know, but I meant there are buildings
Yes.
in the way.
Yep.
And they need them knocked down.
We do. So you may have seen in the paper that we've got an RFP out for barn demolition. It's at the old Farmers Exchange MFA buildings, if you're familiar with Mountain Grove area at all.
Off the old Highway 72.
Off Old Highway 72, yep. And we don't want to just demo these. There's people who are interested in having them taken down and reconstructed.
There's a lot of
people
good building material there.
that's interested in the building material, absolutely. So just like we do our surplus sales, if it's something that the co-op owns that might be of interest to our members, we feel obligated to offer that to them first. So that is available. We've got a packet on our website if you want to download it there. There's some pictures of the barns and the buildings if you're interested. And I believe maybe the 16th, I don't have that right in front of me.
No, it's not too far away.
There's a day that you can kind of do a walkthrough.
Right. Go out there and see
And
it.
go out there and see it. And we're going to have some people from the co-op there that can kind of explain to you, point out which buildings, if there was any question of that, and answer any questions that you have. But if you go to our website, ieca.coop, get on there and look at that. If you scroll down, it's in the news section, and you can download that whole packet. I think it's like 30 pages long or something, because there's a ton of pictures.
Oh, yeah.
But there's also a lot of information on the size of the buildings and how you put in a bid.
Sure.
And if you want to ask any questions or go to that walkthrough day, all of that is available online.
And if you do send in an RFP, do follow all the guidelines that you have to have when you send it in, because it'll be a little bit of a packet.
Yeah.
But please do fill it out completely, because there's information the co-op needs to have from you before they can even consider it. And, of course, they have to read through all these, and there may be quite a few of them that come in. And if you don't have all the information that's needed, the required insurance, things of that nature, please make sure you have all that.
Right.
So they don't have to call you and say, hey, you don't have your certificate of insurance, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
You know, they want to try and get moving on this project just as quickly as they possibly can. And any delays, well, you kind of get the idea. Puts it off another week,
Right.
another month, another
Right.
half a year. We don't want all that stuff. So anyway, please follow the instructions carefully and please submit whatever is requested of you. And if you have any questions about what's needed, call
Absolutely.
the co-op. And there's a number you can do that with. And Heather has that number.
I do, yes. So you can always call us. It's toll free. It's 866-621-3679. If you let them know that you're calling about the barns in Rolla. Keywords there are
Barn and Rolla.
our people.
Put those two together. Yeah.
They'll know what you need and who to get you to. So definitely call if you have any questions. Don't turn in an incomplete application just because you've got questions. Just know you can always call and ask those.
Yeah, and don't think that, oh, well, Intercounty will call me if they have any questions. No, they're going to be busy, guys. Those engineers have to go through those things, and it's more detailed than you sometimes think, especially with the government regulations you have, making sure this is covered, that is covered, if there's any kind of materials that were used, blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
So please follow the instructions implicitly and do submit the requested material that you're asked to submit.
Yes.
And we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
It makes it easy. But get it in. Go ahead, check it out there. And again, I think that day, I think you're right. I think it's the 16th. I think so. So you can check that out. Or just call that same number that Heather just gave you and ask.
Yeah.
And they'll be more than happy to tell you.
We'll give you all the dates.
All the data that you might need.
Probably more.
Probably more than you need, but anyway, definitely want to check that out. But that is something coming up. Is there a speculative date of when the new office is going to be ready?
If there is, I haven't heard that yet.
Okay.
I know they're working on, I think they've got blueprints for the renovation of the building. There's a nice building there. We're going to be able to redo that and kind of work in so that there can be a drive-through and that there can be some walk-up windows. I mean, we need to make it functional for what we need, but there's a lot of good building there that we're going to be able to utilize. So,
Very good.
So that's good. Planning, you talked about engineering and planning. Sometimes that stuff takes a while, but
and sometimes it gets changed.
And sometimes it gets changed.
And even
Absolutely.
after you go through all that, and then suddenly somebody will say, well, we need this.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't plan for that. Well, we may have to.
Plans change.
We may have to rethink things.
Yeah. Yep, you're absolutely right.
And times change and the technology changes. So a lot of that also goes into the planning of these things as well. So very good. So anyway, that's for those who want to salvage some materials.
Yeah, absolutely.
And definitely want to check that out for yourself at RFP and for the barn demolition in Rolla on the old Highway 72 at the old MFA Farmers Exchange. There
That's right.
It was out that way. I hate to see buildings tore down, but
I know.
But not all of them are being torn down. So
There's some.
just has to clear a little space and renovate a few things. So
Yeah.
very good.
Yep.
All right. What else you want to talk about today?
I want to talk about it, but I don't have all the details. That sounds real great, doesn't it? So we're last year we did something for the first time. We participated with Share Your Harvest
Oh yeah.
with Missouri Department of
Yep.
Conservation, and it went over extremely well. We only had one processor there in Licking by our headquarters office, and we only donated the food to one pantry. We weren't really sure how that was going to go over. It went over really well. We had 52 deer donated last year, which is just incredible.
That's fantastic.
Our local food pantry received over 2,000 pounds of processed meat
Medicine.
that they were able to then give to people that could use a little extra help. So we are doing it again this year. We're expanding that, and this is the part that I don't quite know yet, but we are going to make sure we share this online. We're going to have multiple processors that people can take their deer to. So hopefully somewhere a little bit closer to you. We realize licking is
Licking's not
central
that far.
to us, but it's not necessarily the closest option that they could have. So we're working to get extra processors on board. We want to be able to give to multiple pantries. So that's it's kind of new, not completely new because last year was our first year, but it's another way as a co-op that we want to be able to help our local communities, and hopefully it goes over just as well this year.
Yeah.
And
Great program.
it is. Yep. It's
Fantastic
very
program.
interesting. Last year was the first year that I had heard of that and got to learn a
Really?
lot about
Been
it,
around for
actually.
quite some time.
And it's just incredible, the partnerships that people make and the way that people can help people. And that's always a great thing.
Absolutely. And that's kind of goes back to the heart of the co-op, people helping people.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Good
we were
stuff.
kind of talked about that earlier.
We did, yeah. It's like it's co-op month or something.
Oh, yeah. We don't want people to think that. So, and that will be in effect for the entire deer season?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
so you've got...
Yeah. And I think there may be some information on our website already, ieca.coop, but as we get those details of which specific processors, we'll definitely get those on there. And again, if you want to call, we'll get you to the right person, and I know he'd be more than happy to talk to you. And
So it doesn't matter whether it's bow and arrow season, your archery season, or will be the firearm season. The Share the Harvest program goes all the way into January, by the way, because that's when the final seasons for deer hunting end. And so you can still donate that meat from, and you don't have to donate all of it. You can donate some. It's one of those great programs, but you can donate the whole deer if you have an extra deer, especially the landowners who sometimes get maybe 2 or 3. If you'd like to donate one to the Shared Harvest program, you can do so. It's
Yeah.
a great thing.
and there's no cost to the individual when they donate
Right.
that.
Yeah, it's paid for by conservation. I think State Farm pays for some of it.
Intercounty, we
Intercounty
pick up.
pays for some of that. So, yeah, it doesn't cost you anything. All you're doing is helping people.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
Is that
but-
crazy?
Right?
What?
Good stuff. Good stuff.
And you take one more deer off the road that Heather doesn't have to worry about
Right?
as
Yeah.
she drives to and from Salem, and then St. James today,
I
and
know.
then back to Licking.
In the
Which way are you going to
electric
go
car.
back to Licking? You're going to go to St. James on 68?
No. Not back to Licking. Not on 68.
No. From here.
From
to-
here, yes.
Yeah, 68.
Yeah. I thought you
So-
meant coming back.
so
I'm
you're
like,
gonna go,
no.
But you're going to go back out in the construction zone?
There's an outer road. You can take the outer road.
Well, you can take old 66.
You can take the outer road
Yes,
and then
you
take
can.
63. That's probably what I'll do.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, I'll head up 68.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Well, again, 68 is a deer haven.
Yeah.
Has been for at least 40 years that I know of. And sometimes you can reach right out there and touch them.
Don't jinx me, Stan.
No. You can see
Yeah.
what. I will say this, and I do thank Intercounty and all of the right of way people who have really started to clear a lot of that stuff out. That is so important. And even MoDOT for cutting the grass, because I'll tell you what, you see an animal come out of those woods and you used to have 5 feet. There's no way you can see it. Now, a lot of times you have 15 feet.
Makes a
And
difference.
you can see that deer coming, or they're looking at you and you can see the eyes. 15 feet and you're traveling before they get in front of you. There's a lot of time. Please don't swerve to try and avoid that deer.
No, that's dangerous.
And I know people want to. I
Reaction.
don't want to damage my car either, but the thing is, try and be aware. Constantly look for those sides and make sure there's no movement. You see movement come. You see one deer, you're probably going to see 2, maybe even 3.
Right.
So be very cautious about that. But when it's deer hunting season, kind of like now, Share the Harvest with Intercounty, and we really appreciate Intercounty being a sponsor of that. It is an incredible program. I can't remember I had the numbers. We did a story on that.
Oh, okay.
How much has been donated since they started the program?
it's
I think it
incredible.
went over 1 million pounds.
Isn't that?
Yeah,
that's
that's
just
amazing.
something. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think they just did that last year, and they said they reached that goal. Can you imagine who started that program? It's a great program to start, but can you ever imagine them thinking $1 million
No.
pounds of
No.
venison being donated.
To people that could use it.
That's a lot.
It is a lot.
That's a lot.
And it makes a difference. So
Yeah.
keep that in mind this year.
Very good. What else are we going to talk about?
Well, I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, fine.
Let's just get it out of the way. Don't fall for phone scams.
Oh, I thought you were going to throw something else at me.
Oh, no.
Like we're not going to have Thanksgiving or something this year.
Oh, geez. Yeah, we have no control over that.
Okay, all right, very good.
Thanksgiving's my favorite. We're not going to get rid of Thanksgiving.
Well, I then when you kind of so we don't want to talk about it, I'm like, well, wait a minute.
I don't like talking about phone scams.
No, I don't like talking about any scams.
I feel like we talk about them all the time, but it's just a necessary thing to talk about anymore because
That and internet scams, they're the same.
They're not stopping. That's a great point. It may not be just a phone call. It might be a text with a link. It might be an email with a link. It might be something that pops up on your computer that says, oh, you had a virus. Click here and we'll get rid of it. I mean, there are scammers everywhere. And actually, last month, talking on Kabul Community Radio, and the gentleman there was talking about how he had, at years ago in his life, he had an in-person scam with a company, supposed company, that had some extra asphalt.
Oh, yeah.
And he said it was in person, and they were just so convincing, and they had a little extra from a job up the road, and we can bring it right down here. We just need $100 or whatever it was. So, I say phone scams, but I think you're absolutely right, Stan. We need to just say scams because there are scam artists and they are trying to cheat you out of your money, and we don't want to see that happen. They may impersonate Intercounty. And a lot of these phone scams, they're trying, and their tactics are changing. They're not just the rude, threatening, make your payment right now or else we're going to turn your power off because he's just down the road. They're crafty, and they are learning more about us. They're learning more about our members, and their messages now are, hey, we bought some discounted kilowatt hours and we're a co-op.
Right.
And we share those savings with our members. Would you be interested in purchasing a block of discounted
credit that you can buy toward your intercounty bill? Absolutely. And all you got to do is just give us your information.
Yeah. Once you give out that financial information, whether it's a checking or savings account number or your credit or debit card information, when you give that out, they have it. And they may have offered you a discounted block of kilowatt hours for $19.99, but they are not just going to take $19.99.
And they're not going to give you any credits either.
No. And so, I say this on behalf of Intercounty, but I don't think it would be unfair to say this for any business that is being impersonated in a scam. You can always hang up the phone and call that business back directly at the number that you know is theirs. If we were to have any type of promotion where we had something like that, you would not be ineligible by hanging up and calling us back directly. And I think most businesses are probably the same way. Their customers, their members are facing phone scams too.
Every day.
And they understand if it doesn't feel right, hang up and call that business back. They are not going to be upset. They're going to be totally understanding. They don't want to see anybody get scammed either. And we certainly don't. So hang up, call us back directly. The one I mentioned about the discounted block of electric credits, one of the ladies that called, she said, I didn't think it was real, but I wanted to call back just in case, because if it was, I wanted to take advantage of it. That's totally fine. That's exactly what we want you to do.
That's what you should be doing.
Yes. And she called and she said, well, I wish I could have bought some cheaper electric, but at least I didn't get my bank account information out there to us.
Well, exactly. And where does it end from there once you give it out? I mean,
yeah.
if it's a savings account number or something of that nature, you may find zero in it in a day.
Right.
It'll be gone.
Yeah.
So you don't want to do that.
No.
Be extraordinarily cautious. And as Heather mentioned, if it sounds too good to be true, probably is.
It probably is. And if you didn't initiate the call, if you were called and they're asking for financial information, that's a huge red flag. There are still other businesses. Intercounty's not one of them. We don't accept payments over the phone with any of our employees. We have an automated line for that, but there's other businesses that still do.
Oh, sure.
And if you call them directly because you are wanting to take care of business like that, that's much different than being called by them and being asked for that information. So guard that information, be hesitant to share it. Always know you can hang up and call a business back, not at a number that you're given by the caller, because they're not going to give you, in our case, they're not going to give you Intercounty's actual
They're
number.
going to give you a burner phone
Right.
so
Yeah.
they can't be caught.
Yeah.
Anyway, but one thing I do want to make mention to of all our friends out there, a lot of times, and they say, well, they're not going to call me because I don't make a lot of money. They don't care.
They don't care.
They don't care. As a matter of fact, they actually target low-income people to try and get money because they know if you can get a discount on something or save money, if you have a little bit of money stored up, that more than likely you might be really interested in that.
Mm-hmm.
And they just don't care who you are, and they don't care what position it's going to put you in.
Yeah. So
Think about that. Just always be very cautious before making that big decision about that $300 or $400 or $500 purchase that you're going to make for that block of credits for Intercounty to last you all year long. You won't even have to pay another electric bill. Don't fall for it.
Yeah.
It's not there. Not
And
going to
call
happen.
and call us back if you're hopeful.
Sure.
Call us back, like the one lady that called. She said, "I know it's probably not real, but I just want to make sure."
Yeah. Did I win the lottery? Did I win the Intercounty lottery?
Yeah, the one that we don't even have.
Well, I know, but if you had one, I mean,
But call.
But they feel
Call.
like they have when they get some deal like that. They feel like they won the lottery.
Right.
You know,
And
hey,
there's still the original threatening, hey, you didn't pay your bill, or hey, we got your check, but you didn't sign it. Do you want to just make that payment over the phone? We've got a serviceman out doing disconnects.
no, I'll just
he's
call my
in your-
bank and authorize it. Thank you.
He's in your area. He's probably going to be there shortly unless you want to make that payment over the phone.
Yeah, no, I just call my bank and I'll authorize it. They know
Yeah.
who I am.
Yeah. So
This is a
just
small town.
be hesitant to share that.
Yeah. Very good information. I hate to report on that
Yeah.
too, but it's good information. One thing though that's coming up is we're going to have all kinds of neat stuff out in people's yards.
Oh, I know.
Oh, it's already
it's
happening.
already happening.
Already happening for Halloween. It's
Yep.
going to happen for Thanksgiving. It's going to happen for Christmas. And lo and behold, I love to see people who really go out and decorate and do a tremendous job doing it. It is fun to see. But if you're one of those people, do remember, if you have a lot of blow up stuff,
Those fans run.
those little,
If they're plugged in, they're running.
they're running, and it's going to add to your electric bill no matter what. So kind of keep that in mind. Now, if you have a generator and you have them on a generator, that's a good thing. You might do that, especially just those outside appurtenances. But if you have a lot of lights, maybe you're decorating around your door and surrounded with lights and things of that nature that probably are plugged into a socket. Do make
Right.
sure, obviously, if you have anything out of doors, make sure that you have that ground fault interrupt
Right.
plug. You
Wait.
do not want to do it without that.
No. We, they're fine to use. They're nice to see. They're fun. But like you said, there's two elements to that. There's increased usage, and we don't want anybody to go all out and then be shocked by
Cringe come December when that bill for your electric in
Yeah.
October is
So-
going to take away the Christmas gifts for little Snappy and Peppy, your puppies and cats or whatever.
Right. So just be aware that increased usage anytime you plug something in. And if you want help calculating what something like that'll use, have the box or if that information, a lot of times it's on the back of those fans or whatever it might be that you're plugging in. We can help you calculate how much that would add to your bill. And then that way you can be prepared. And then maybe you think, okay, instead of leaving it up all night long, I'll just unplug it before I go to bed. It might help you make better decisions. The second half of that is the safety aspect. And You mentioned the ground fault circuit interrupters, those GFCIs. Make sure you've got it plugged in to something that's rated for outdoor use.
That too.
We've talked before about the difference between indoor and outdoor extension cords.
Oh, yes.
And those really handy connection covers.
yep.
I don't know what those are called.
Connection cover
Connection
sounds
covers,
good to me.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it. Yeah, I don't know what they're called. I think they're called insulators. To be honest, yeah, they're connection insulators.
Yep.
Because they surround it, and they little rubber on the end where you put it on, and works really good.
Yep.
And it's not very expensive, and it's really safe.
It's very safe. And, if you've got a lot of those decorations up, it might be that it's because you've got children and maybe not, but we don't want to see anybody hurt.
Well, especially we're in the autumn season, and I know I can say this, and you probably don't believe me, but it will rain again, and when it does, you don't want all those extension cords out there to become just underneath water, to where they could become a hazard, and then have little Johnny or Sally out there running around and
be energized. Your yard could be energized.
Yeah, you don't want that to happen. So, anyway, be very cautious. We love the lights, though. We love the blow-ups. We love it. I love it. I think it's great.
Yeah.
Some people, like my nephew, overdoes it a little.
But you like to go and look, I'm sure.
He'll send me pictures. So,
Oh, does he?
Yeah, I mean, I can't, 1 million lights he had up last year.
Oh, wow.
Crazy thing like that. But, yeah, he's in it.
He's passionate about it.
And now he's into Halloween. So he just started doing Halloween.
Good for him.
Good for him. That's right. I say he's bored. He needs something to do. let him do that stuff. But it does add to your bill. So just remember, and we talk about it in the summer when you have a pool. We talk about it in the winter for your lights. We talk about those different things that can add to your bill. Just be aware how much you may be adding to that bill, and then you have to think any other extenuating circumstances. Like maybe you're having a family move in with you for a vacation. Maybe it's a week or 2 weeks or something of that nature. They're coming down for Thanksgiving, going to stay through Christmas. A whole month. Well, that if they're going to be in the house, they're going to be taking showers. They're going to be watching TV. They're going to be charging their phones. They're going to be cooking extra. Your bills are going to go higher. You're going to have more usage.
Right. Yeah. And that's where our app is really helpful, Smart Hub, if you don't already have it. And hopefully you're listening, you're like, oh, I've had that for a long time. Surely they've had it for a long time.
Right, and they probably say, thank you, I have had it a long time, and stop calling me Shirley.
Yes, my name's not Shirley. But Smart Hub it's a great app. It's free. You can download it. You can access all of the same information just through our website if you want to do that. But you have access to a lot of tools that make it really convenient to be able to keep track of your usage and kind of keep an eye on it. And
including previous usage.
And
you can tell, hey, last year I had Aunt Matilda stay with me.
I thought he was going to say Shirley.
No, Shirley I wouldn't say Shirley, but Aunt Matilda. And that keeps me very far away from Shirley. And Aunt Agatha. They both came in, and they both stayed for extended periods of time, and my bill went up 10%. Well, now and you can check that right there by the usage numbers that you have, and it compares it year to year to year to year, and you can see. You don't need to go by the dollar figure, go by the usage amount.
Right, and you can overlay that with weather data, which is really interesting to me.
Yeah.
That visual to see when the temperature is low, the usage is high, and if you have any type of electric heat source, that's going to be the case. And it's a great tool if there's something else wrong. You can identify that a lot faster. If when it warms up, your usage doesn't go down, maybe your well pump is running all the time. Maybe your water heater element has gone out. It helps you identify, not necessarily identify what the problem is, but it helps you know that there's something off, so that it doesn't just happen all month long and then you get the bill and then you're already into the next billing cycle and then you realize the well pump is running constantly.
So-
So take a look at it every few days. Keep an
great
eye on
tool.
your usage. Yeah.
Great tool. Now, I did want to ask one thing. That this is something kind of new that now is becoming a little bit more prevalent, is electric vehicle chargers.
Mm-hmm.
And how much that is affecting people's electric bill. Now, they sometimes tell you to do that between the hours of 2 and 6 in the morning to charge your vehicle, and not any other time, because the more people that we get on, the higher the load,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But I don't know if Intercounty has anything to determine how much, if you wanted to go buy an electric vehicle, and if you got all the data, if they could calculate what that charge might be to charge your vehicle every single day. Because people don't know how to compare an electric charge versus their gas usage.
Yeah. So we could, any type of electrical device, including electrical vehicle and those chargers, they're all, they have ratings, and we can take those numbers, watts, volts, whatever you've got, and we can do some math for you and help you figure out what something like that would cost. And I will tell you, we've got an electric vehicle for work, and I don't know how they are all different, if this is just something that ours has, but it will tell me what my cost per mile is. So some of that you're going to be provided through your dashboard on your vehicle, but as far as usage, what it's going to cost specific to our co-op based on our rates, we can absolutely do that math for you.
Of course, it depends on your driving habits and
It
how
does.
much you're going to use,
Right.
and how often you do use it, or how much you charge it.
Right. And even just the difference between driving over here on a nice day versus on a day when maybe it's a little bit dark and the headlights need to be on and the wipers are being used and the
heater's
defroster.
on, yeah.
You know, that all makes a difference in how far you can drive before the battery does need to be charged again. So some of that's, it's going to fluctuate based on conditions. But as far as how much it would cost to charge it for a certain amount of time, yes, we can absolutely figure that out. And to sort of address what you said about charging, the times that you charge it. Mm-hmm. So Intercounty, our
I mean,
rate,
that has not been the case in Missouri
and
as much as
and-
it has been like in California.
yes. And so the reason why that makes a difference, and Intercounty, it depends on how the rate structure is set up with your utility company. Intercounty, we bill our members a service availability, which is that flat fee that's to cover the cost of delivering power. It's maintaining our lines, it's maintaining the equipment,
The
it's
meter, everything.
it's
yes.
making
Yep.
sure whether you only need 1 kilowatt hour or you need 10,000, that we have it available to you. Then the second part to that is our kilowatt hour rate. And so then we charge you based on usage. Now, Intercounty, we are charged an extra, it's not necessarily extra, we have an extra component to our rate structure. What we're charged is a demand charge. And we talk about that because our rates from our provider are set based on what our members' peak demand is. We want to make sure that at any point in time, if all of our members needed all of whatever their max power needs are at the same time, that we have enough capacity to be able to deliver that. And so
But that sets your rate
that sets
for the next year, right?
Yes, that sets our rate that we then need to charge our members. And that's taken into consideration every time the board takes a look at the rate structure. Now, some co-ops, they have, over the past several years, and we're seeing more do this, they are adding that component to the members' bills. So it does change the structure. It does, you don't have to charge as much for the kilowatt hour as you would if you don't have that demand rate. But that's where it becomes really important for members to then start taking a look at, do I have everything running at the same time? Because if I do, then I'm going to have a really high demand. And that's why, when they talk about these electric cars and charging them, they recommend that you charge them
Right.
in those hours,
Early morning hours.
in the early morning, middle of the night hours, because chances are nothing else is on in your home, in your neighbors' homes. And so it helps those utility companies keep that demand from peaking at an even higher amount.
The old peak alerts, and we all remember those. And usually those come between the hours of 4 and 7 because everybody gets home. They start cooking. They
Right.
start cleaning. They do their laundry.
And-
And the TVs all come on. The radios all come on. Everybody's charging their phone. And every single person is adding a little bit more to that demand for power.
Right.
And so if you plug your cars in at that time as well, because you just got home, the battery said low, but you're not going to do it at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night because you want to go to sleep.
Yeah. Makes a difference.
Does.
And it really starts to make a difference if you start thinking about it on a large scale. Like if the popularity of these grows, if the usage of them, and sales grow, it does start to make a difference. And I'll tell you, it is something that Associated Electric, that they're monitoring and they're keeping an eye on, like, what does this look like in Missouri? What does it look like for our system? What are we seeing trend wise, and how will it impact us and our grid and our availability to provide power? So I'm comforted that the professionals in that are keeping an eye on it, because I know there's a lot to think about when it comes to that, and a lot of planning.
Yeah.
We talk about planning, a ton of planning and strategic planning. So I'm glad that they're keeping an eye on it.
One less thing you have to worry about.
One less thing. I get to go wrap hot dogs.
And that's one less thing they have to worry about.
That's right.
Yeah, you get to do that.
Yeah, I get to do the fun stuff.
That's in St. James today, by the way.
It is.
Where's
Yeah.
that going to be in St. James?
It is at the gazebo right there on Washington Street, so kind
Okay.
of across from
You're-
their utility company.
Yeah, I was gonna
ironically enough.
Yeah, I was going to say that's like
We
right.
feed them too. It's okay.
You do?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, they can come
man.
eat. It's open to anybody, so
Yeah, well, but it's a great service.
it is.
Anyway, I don't have anything else. I just wanted to kind of throw that out there because I know it's becoming more and more prevalent. You're
Yeah,
hearing
no,
about it,
that's good
especially in
stuff.
the high demand states. Texas, I think, is starting to do that now. California has been doing that for a while. And if you don't do that, by the way, I think if they find out that you're actually charging your vehicle in the wrong times, they penalize you.
Oh,
They throw a penalty on your bill because you charge your vehicle in the non-vehicle charging times that you've been you're assigned a time. I don't know how they do all this. I can't even imagine this as what Pacific Electric is doing or whatever. But anyway, they assign you a time. That's the time you have to charge your electric vehicle if you have one.
that's
If you don't
interesting.
charge it during that time,
You're penalized.
and you charge it during peak time, you're penalized.
Interesting.
So I guess there may be a special rate for that between
so.
these times.
Maybe it's metered different or something.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it. So, and I'm not trying to say that that's going to happen here in the next week or month or 2 years or 10. But it is something to always consider, that charging your vehicle, if it's an electric vehicle, is like having outdoor beautiful decorations. You're
Right.
going to have an additional charge. Now, you may not be spending as much in gas, but you will have an additional charge on your electric bill. So you don't forget to weigh the difference there. So
And we talk about this a lot, but call Intercounty and talk to us and let us be part of that planning process. Let us give you the information so that you've got, all the tools that you need when you're going to make that decision. If you're thinking about buying an electric car and you're curious how much
Yeah.
it's going to cost to charge it, just call us and ask,
Sure.
and we'll get you to somebody there that can kind of help you play out some numbers. And I'm sure there's specific information available. We have access to just
sure your
tons of
vehicle
information.
specs have that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you're looking at buying one, you might want to get those vehicle specs from the dealer. Mm-hmm. Get
And
it
then call
ahead
us.
of time. And if they say, well, you got to buy that car now, don't fall for that scam either. They got plenty of cars out there.
Yeah.
And right now with electric vehicles, they got a lot more on their hands than they really want anymore. So all of a sudden that fad has kind of backed off a little bit. So, I mean, there's a use for them. Country probably is not the best place to have one if you have to drive 3, 4, 5 hours to get to a destination,
Right.
because you will have to find a place to charge. And some charging stations, they only have like 1 or 2 chargers, and you may be waiting in line.
Yeah. You definitely want to plan the route out.
Yeah, you do. You really do, and you have to make sure that they have the right charging station for your vehicle. Some of those are not just generic.
Yeah.
I remember being in Arizona here a few years back. All they had was Teslas. You could only charge your Tesla with the chargers they had. They were specifically made for Teslas. I was like, is there a Tesla dealer here? I mean, why would you just have an electric vehicle
Isolate.
just for... Well, I think they had like 2 that were generic, but 10 that were for Teslas.
Huh.
So
I don't know.
there was that in Sedona, probably still there.
Probably.
But it was interesting to see that. I thought Tesla, generic.
A little
Wow.
outnumbered.
Wow,
Huh.
that's really kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And I do not know if there's adapters to go from one to another. I have no idea. I haven't gotten into the electric vehicle part yet. But if you are going to buy one, you definitely want to do your research.
Yes, definitely.
Plenty of it, to make sure you're well informed, because I cannot tell you that I have that information, nor will I tell you that I have that knowledge, because I do not. I'll leave it at that. I leave all my knowledge in electric to Intercounty.
Well,
There you go.
that's pretty smooth.
Because they're the co-op this month, and I'm saluting myself, but every co-op being saluted during National Co-op Month, which is October, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Okay. Let me leave some contact information. If
Well,
you-
you probably should, but
I
don't.
probably should.
Are you doing your finger exercises to start wrapping hot dogs?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Oh, gosh.
I'm ready.
You ought to see the look I got. I'm pumped. Get out
Yeah,
of my way.
this is the fun stuff. These are the days we look forward to.
Okay.
Um,
How about that contact information? First off, how about that charge number? You did mention that when you do pay your intercounty bill by a credit card, you call a different number. It is a direct number, and no human hands touch this or
Yes.
see that number.
Yes, so that's our secure pay by phone line, and it is available 24/7, which is really nice if
Yeah.
it's outside business hours and you're needing to make a payment,
Or you forget.
or you forget. Well, that's needing to make a payment outside of business hours.
Remember, do it before 30 seconds before the top of the hour.
Yeah, Stan's like,
By
give
the time
yourself
you
at
punch
least
in
a
all the
minute.
numbers, you won't have time.
But that number, that is our toll-free number, and it is 855-940-3890.
Now, this changed about 6
It did.
months ago.
Yeah.
Right?
Or yeah, right around annual meeting time.
Yeah, it was about, because we were going to put out different stuff and they changed it. So,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
yeah. So anyway, so if you have something old with Intercounty,
It's not going to work.
yeah, that number doesn't work anymore.
Yep.
So you want to repeat that number one more time?
Yes, it is 855-940-3890.
Are you cheating?
I am cheating. Because I still want to say the old one, which I could spiel off really quick, but I don't want to confuse people.
I get it. Very
Yep.
good. Or you can always, now that's for payments only. Okay.
That's right.
Now, if you have information that you need to derive from Intercounty, whether it be on billing, setting up an engineer, trying to find out more about their marketing department. They have a lot of different things going on there for helping businesses. You can do that economic development and slash marketing kind of all blends together, and you need to talk to Tony, or maybe there's somebody else over there you need to talk to. There's always a bevy of wonderful people that can assist you.
Absolutely. So
And that's just a generic number if you don't have their extension.
it is. Yep. So if you call our toll-free line, it's 866-621-3679. That gets you, that's going to get you a live person. And then you can tell them who you need or what you need, and we can figure it out and get you to the right person.
A real person answers the phone. We don't have...
Well, you get to, a real person doesn't answer it right away. You get to decide if you want to talk to someone, make a payment.
Sure.
You can click to be transferred to that automated line.
Right.
But if you want to talk to someone, you're just going
Because
to.
you don't know where else to go.
Right.
Right.
Yep. You're going
Yeah,
to talk to somebody about your bill. You're going to report an outage, or you're going to
you can be
make a
directed.
payment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yep.
Very good. Don't forget about Smart Hub. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, Heather did explain to you in great detail some of the great benefits of having Smart Hub, that history of your billing and different
Mm-hmm.
things and payments, and also usage. So nice to have if you have Aunt Agatha or Matilda coming by, or maybe you have the entire Brady Bunch coming over
Maybe
for
so.
Christmas. Oh, 8 people at
lot of
Christmas
people.
time? We don't want to do that. Anyway, but if you have that happening, it can help determine what your electric costs are. So,
Yep.
anyway, a lot of good stuff. Smart Hub. How do they get to Smart Hub?
Go to our website.
How does they get there?
I know. So go to ieca.coop. There's a ton of information on there. You can access your account on there. If you're wanting to download the app, you're just going to search for Smart Hub in your app store. That is available for iPhones or Androids.
Either one, yeah.
Yeah, either one. So just search for Smart Hub. You are going to need your account number. So if you have a bill you can look off of, or if you want to do it now and you don't have a bill handy, call our office. We can get you that information so you can get set up.
When you do set up your account, do write down your username and password. That's a good thing to do.
I mean, if you want to be able to log back in and
Right.
and,
It'd
and
just be a
access
good
it.
idea. Yeah. Just an idea.
I mean,
Many of us don't, and then we forget.
it's like you're
You can always
speaking
get
from
back
experience.
in, but you have to go through quite a few steps to get it.
Yeah.
Like I said, with any different thing, you have to go through other steps to re-identify. Also, and we sometimes don't even mention this very often, but you can stop by any of the 3 inter-county offices.
Absolutely, yes. So we've got an office in Rolla, Licking, and Mountain Grove, kind of spread out over our service territory, and those are open Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. Not this coming Monday.
No.
As we mentioned, that we're going to be
It's just
closed.
the exception to the
The
rule.
exception. But we do try to make sure we advertise those holidays when we're going to be closed, get a note on your bill, that sort of thing. So normal business hours, though, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Our Mountain Grove and Rolla offices do have a drive-up window. So if you're in a hurry or you can't get out of your car, you can easily go through that drive-up window and talk to somebody. We do have a drop-off box at the Licking office that you can drop off a payment, pull right up to and drop off and not have to get out. But we don't have a window where you can speak to someone that way.
All right, very good. And I guess our last thing that we usually finish with is Roundup.
Yes, yep. And today's Roundup Day. So if you're not familiar, Roundup is our charitable program that we have at Intercounty. It's completely funded by members who do exactly what it sounds like. They round their bill up to the next nearest dollar. Comes out to be, on average, about 50 cents a month or $6 over the course of the year that you would round up to, your donation to that charitable fund.
It is tax deductible.
It is tax deductible, and it does average right around $6. I've had years where it's been 4 or 5. I've had years where it's 7 or 8.
I think $7.52 is my highest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean it does average out to be right around $6. Not unless you're on levelized billing. If you're on levelized billing, that's where we set you at an average amount, and it's an even number. And if you wish to be on Roundup when you're on levelized, we add a full dollar. We do make sure we communicate that with you before we just sign you up for it. So that would be the max that you would contribute. But it's a really great program. We have a group of 7 volunteer delegates from across our service territory, and every month they meet, same day as radio program here. They meet and they go over those applications that they had received the prior month, and they make decisions that day based on what applications were turned in, what the needs were communicated. Every situation is different. We might have a member who needs help with materials for a wheelchair ramp.
Yeah.
We might have somebody that has a heating and cooling repair issue that they don't have the money for, or the vehicle's in the shop and they can't pick it up till it's paid for, and they're out of work until they can get there. Rent, mortgage. There's just a ton of things that Roundup has been able to help with. We do not help with electric bills. Sometimes we kind of get a puzzled look when we say that because they're like, hold on, you're the electric company. Why can't? There's several reasons there. Transparency is a huge one. We did not start this program to make sure that we are getting paid. We started this program because there's a real need in our local communities for assistance outside of utility assistance. There's other organizations that can help with electric bills. There's not a lot of organizations that can foot the bill at a lumber yard for materials to get your ramp built.
Right. Absolutely.
And that's what we want to be there for.
And we really appreciate those volunteers for Roundup do an incredible
They
job.
do.
And
They absolutely do.
They really should be thanked, and we should probably thank them a lot more than we do, but they really do an incredible job. So, again, if you want to find out more about Roundup, if you're not a member of Roundup, first off, shame on you. You should be. It's a great program, and it doesn't cost you much. And on your bill, you'll actually have a little box there. You can join Roundup by simply putting an X or a check mark or color it in like you're voting, and then when you send it back in with your payment, it'll be good. Or you can just call.
Right.
Or on SmartHub, you can even go and become a member of Roundup.
Sign up for it there, too.
Any which way you want to do it, it's a great program, and it really does benefit. It's neighbor helping neighbor. Your part is very small. The neighbor's part might be very large to what they need to have some help with. And as a neighbor, you probably can't give them the $4 or $5 or $7 or $800 that can help, but your $6.52 that you've donated during the year, along with that next neighbor and the next neighbor and the next neighbor. And all of a sudden, it's neighbors helping neighbor.
Yes. And that's the intended purpose. It's people helping people, kind of where we started with. And
gosh, just like
it's
full circle.
I know, because we're a co-op. Look at that.
It's co-op month.
It's co-op month. Yeah.
Heather, as always, thank you for coming by, spending some time with us. We do appreciate our friends in Intercounty, and we do it every second Tuesday of the month. Heather's going to be traveling off to St. James. Be careful on your travels. And we have coming up for you our Civic Record here shortly, so we invite you to stick around for that. In the meantime, have yourself a great day. And Heather, again, we'll see you in a month.
See you next month.
All right, thank you very much.
Your weekend entertainer, KSMO Salem.
McDonald's just took a normal week and turned up the vibes ×3 with deals in the app. Monday isn't just Monday, it's McNuggets Monday. You can get a